Call to order at 2:01. Will the city clerk please call the roll?
Commissioner Hodges?
Here.
Commissioner Oakley?
Yes. Here.
Commissioner Lister?
Here.
Vice Mayor Douthert?
Present.
Mayor Black?
Here. All right, the floor is now open for public comment for anything that is not on the agenda. Public comment is now closed. The next portion of the meeting is going to be the city manager resumes, and now I'll open the floor again for public comment if anyone wants to speak on that topic. Yes.
Hi, Ginger Tolliver, Bay Point Drive, 814 Bay Point Drive. I just would like to say for all of you to think for yourselves. Don't be preconditioned of how you should vote. Everybody sitting up there knows that I'm 5,100% in favor of Shane Crawford. I think he brought us from darkness into light, and I hope that each and every one of you will think for yourselves and vote your conscience. Thank you.
Anyone else? All right, public comment, excuse me, is now closed. I believe the way we're going to proceed is for each of the commissioners to put their top 5 candidates on a piece of paper, and then we will announce who we have chosen as our top 5, and then pass them down to the clerk to tabulate. Hopefully we can come to a consensus on the top 5 overall. So, yes?
Are we going to have like a discussion? Because, you know, somebody might bring somebody else out that we haven't thought of or missed something in the application. So I think we ought to have a little discussion about, you know, where this is going.
All right, well, then we can do that after we put down our top 5,
Okay.
and then
I'd appreciate that.
sure, no problem. All right, so we'll do that now.
So you want us to read my top 5? Is that what you want me to do, Madam
Well, we
Mayor?
haven't, I haven't.
What's that?
I thought we hadn't put, you put them down already.
Yeah, they give me a piece of paper to write my top 5
Okay,
down.
well,
So I get to read them?
Yes, we have to read them for sunshine law.
Okay.
Everyone has to be in the public about who their selections are.
And my top 5 are obviously considered because of their expertise, but also for their locale, because, you know, we've been through some turbulent times here in Madeira Beach, and you know, I'm not really keen on paying relocation costs for a lot of these guys that are out of state. So I apologize to them in advance that I didn't give them a ton of consideration. So my 5 candidates are, like I say, Ginger, we're not going to vote on this today, but Shane Crawford was a good city manager, and he can be a city manager again. So he's on my list. Now, I'm not ranking them 1 to 5. I'm just going to give you my 5 that I have on my list. The second one actually is, you know, it's local. It's Doug Andrews. My 3rd is Robert Esposito, who worked for the Department of Transportation here locally. My 4th is Victor Caraco. He's done some homework here in the city, tried to figure out a little bit on our budgets. And my 5th is actually Joseph Helfenbigger. I just went over his resume, and I know he's from St. Cloud, but it is fairly local. But he's been through sort of what we're going through right now. So those would be my 5 candidates. And I'm not sure how we're going to narrow this down, whether we're going to go with common threads that do this, or the way my agenda read is that I'm picking 5 people to interview. So I don't know if you want me to interview these 5 people, or whether the city clerk's going to set that up for interviews, or how that's going to work.
it's my understanding that we're going to pass these down to the city clerk, and she's going to rank them all according to how many votes they get, and the top 5 is who we will all interview.
So we were supposed to rank all 38 as a
No.
number? No.
Just pick your top 5.
Okay, all right. You can pass that down to the city clerk. I'll give it to her.
Okay, I didn't get 5, I only got 4. My first one was Jonathan Evans. The next one was Timothy R. Bennett. Then Lyndon L. Bonner and Shane Crawford.
I pretty much just went by the qualifications and narrowed it down to basically to, I think it was 11. I wanted to make some exceptions there, but I finally decided I had to go with what I thought was the best thing. These are my top 5 in no particular order. John Murphy, Richard Sciolo, David Stoll, Lyndon Bonner, and Jonathan Evans.
I just went through all of them and pretty much ranked them A, B, and C, and I came up with Jonathan Evans, Martin Murphy, Timothy Bennett, Scott Heckler, and Joe Helfenberger.
I would like to say something before I kind of say who my top 5 was. I got a call and a text asking me to, to consider Shane, or at least think about it. And I just want to let the people know I did think about it, but I will tell you why I did not decide on him. Two reasons. Number one, when he resigned, he said he would never work for this city again, period. That was his words at a meeting right here. Number two, on October 29th, he threatened me to kick my butt. He used a different word, which I did file a police report on. So I don't think I can vote for someone I think is violent. I don't think I can vote for someone who is going to kick my butt. So I just would like to start off by saying that. My top 5 are Jonathan Evans, Michael Cotter, Timothy Bennett, Margaret, I don't know how to say her last name, Wuerstle, and Byron King.
While she's telling that, do we have any discussion on any of the choices? Go ahead. Or do you want to wait till you get...
There was a few names that were brought up. You brought up a couple names that I hadn't considered, and I didn't write them down. And I think Terry and Nancy did too, and you did too. So that's where I'm in, like, limbo, because I'd like to understand why that you chose those people. And it's just, you didn't ask me why I chose mine. I mean, I thought Jonathan Evans was a very strong candidate in a lot of areas. And I did go out and I Googled all of them, really. And he, for whatever reason, it didn't really come out and say why they terminated him, but it seemed like the commission, there was something going on there. I'm not exactly sure what.
Yeah, I Googled him as well, and I got the same impression. What I liked about him, though, was the fact that on his resume, he said that he was customer-centric. So I thought that was really a good thing, because we need to be that way in Madeira Beach.
Oh, the other thing I liked about him is he is accredited ICMA, and he states there are only 104 ICMA accredited managers in the state of Florida, and there are less than 1,300 internationally. So to have 100 of them here in our state probably says a lot, and we had probably 7 resumes from people that were that have both of those. They're ICMA and ICMA accredited.
I made some comments about some things that were in the applications that I really appreciated, or the cover letters particularly. Morton Stoll, he said he's good at examining organizational paradigms from a fresh perspective, so I thought that could be good.
Who was that?
Stoll, Morton Stoll. And then Mr. Bonner said that he can develop and maintain a diverse, high-performing organization, which I was impressed with that as well.
Did you do Brian King?
Yes.
What did you like?
Byron King. You were talking about the Jonathan Evans. On the YouTube, what it showed was that one of the commissioners in the city he was in had the city redo their driveway. She voted against him to have him dismissed. Another one was having all the flowers in her yard done. She voted against him to be dismissed. And the third one, he was supposed to interview someone for a police chief that was that third one's friend, and he refused to. He said the other candidates were better qualified. So that was the three people that voted against him. According to the Channel 5 news over there.
And the reason that he was upset about her doing the driveway is because she used city money to pay for it.
Yes, that's what I'm saying, yeah. Using city employees.
The flowers too?
Yep. And I have those websites here if anybody needs them to go look at them.
Oh, okay.
You ready for me to read them? Okay.
Absolutely.
Now, I may not pronounce the last names as good, but, okay, for Jonathan Evans, he got 4. Timothy Bennett, 3. These are the top 5. Joe Heffenberger, 2. Lyndon Bonner, 2. Shane Crawford, 2. And then the rest of them has 1. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. There's 16 different ones, because some of those got those extra. The top 5 is Jonathan Evans, he's got 4. Timothy Bennett, 3. Joe Heffenberger, 2. Lyndon Bonner, 2. Shane Crawford, 2.
All right, any discussion about that?
So how does this work? We bring the top 5 in to interview them.
And we just have to decide the best way to do that. I believe, Mr. Attorney, you had suggested that we do a round robin in,
Well, it's up to you guys how you want to do it. You can do it similar to your selection of city attorney, all of you together and the candidates on a day that they're all available. Another way to do it, I think expressed in the earlier meeting you had, is some of you wanted to do individual interviews with the candidates. You can do that. One way to do that is to have a day, an afternoon, say, or a morning, where you have 5 rooms and you have 20 minutes with each candidate, and then rotate the 5 through each room. And then you could meet in the afternoon and have a discussion and a selection either that day or a different day. So that's another way to do it. You can do them by telephone, you can do them in person. If there's 2 of you at the same time, though, it has to be a publicly noticed meeting with minutes in the sunshine. You're allowed to individually call candidates on your own. You can do it that way also prior to a public interview. There's many different ways you can do it, as long as common sense way, and then that it meets the Florida Sunshine Law. So it's up to the commission to determine how you want to proceed. And the clerk can help set up interviews, and she had something she wanted to add.
Yes, HR was going to do a background check on each one.
Okay.
So are we narrowing it down to just those 5, or?
Well, yes
Should we
and
vote
no.
on these? Should we vote on each one of these people? Take a vote to get a consensus up here?
Well, we just did.
No, I didn't.
We gave our top 5 choices, and now,
That's not what I meant.
okay. One other thing that I want to bring up is there's, I lost my note here. There's 3 others that we have to interview. We have no choice. We can do it by phone or by, because they're claiming veterans preference. So you must interview them. It says it on their application, they're claiming veterans preference. By talking to our labor attorney, he said, if they qualify, we must interview them. I've got the email right here from him.
We must interview them or consider them? We just-
You have to interview them. It can be done by phone, and you can turn them down. If they qualify, if they meet our qualifications, you must interview them. And the 3 that, 2 of them are already was on the list. The other 3 are John Schemp, SCHEMPF, Dennis Ragsdale, and John Murphy. They've all claimed veterans preference, and according to our labor attorney, that's what we need to do.
Okay, let's just do a phone interview with those 3 gentlemen. Set that up. I prefer the round robin, let's just go with everybody sitting here, and 20 minutes is not a very long time to interview somebody. I mean, if you've ever gotten to a detailed interview, obviously, even with the city clerk, it takes time to get to
Takes
know
time.
somebody. So
Ragsdale.
I think we should set up at least 30 minutes. It should be at least a 2.5-hour ordeal.
Another one.
Guy to
You're talking
guy.
about doing it on the dais then?
No, I don't know if we should do it on the dice. I mean, I'm okay with individuals, just a
Oh,
round
okay.
robin. You can have somebody in here, you can obviously have this space, Madam Mayor, and, I'll take that room. and We'll just have 5 rooms that we can do it in. And the candidates don't move, we actually would move from,
Right.
yeah.
I think that would work.
But, John, again, I would hope we can do just a phone interview with these gentlemen.
And that's what the attorney said. If we do a phone interview and they don't qualify by the phone interview, then we can disqualify them.
Or just by the merit that they didn't make the top 5, they don't qualify. That's,
Well, if they meet all the qualifications, that
we're
set
interviewing
out,
them.
yeah.
We are interviewing them.
Yeah, so
I
I'm just
understand.
passing on what our labor attorney said.
Claire, I'm sorry, I'm missing one
Yes,
person.
ma'am.
Could you repeat that list again?
I will. The top 5,
Yes, please.
Jonathan Evans, got 4. Timothy Bennett, 3. Joe Helvenberger, 2. Lyndon Bonner, 2. Shane Crawford, 2.
Thank you.
And I believe that Karen said the other day that we need to turn these back in so they can shred them up, right? All the resumes?
Well, do we have a consensus then that we should do the round robin interview for the top 5? Yes. And then the top 3, can we do that by phone without being discriminatory towards them?
Well, the problem is if you're going from 5 to 3 and narrowing it, that has to be done in public,
I
so
don't think
you
she's
can
talking-
interview
No.
the
I think
5.
she's talking about the 3 that has a veteran's preference.
Yes,
The
that's
3
fine.
veterans' preferences can either be in person or by telephone, same thing, they'll be interviewed.
It doesn't matter if they're interviewed in a different venue than the other ones.
They'll be interviewed all together, there'll be 8 total.
No, but we're going to interview the 5 in person and the 3
Different
veterans.
Process, is that gonna be okay?
Well, I think you should have the same kind of process. The clerk can set up interview dates, some of your 5, I don't know if they're all in-state or some are out-of-state, whether they're all going to be on the same day or different days. You should offer the people the opportunity to do in person or on telephone.
Okay.
Yes.
What was that?
I think Solomon Fine, you missed one because he's a veteran too.
Did he claim veteran preference?
That I don't know.
Well, there's
I just
one,
know he's a
there
vet.
was one that was a Marine for 4 years, and we were counting that 4 years towards the 7 years in government, but he was still 3 years short of the experience. So the ones that were red were the ones that did qualify. Does the applicant meet minimum qualifications, that table? There was one additional veteran, Solomon Fine, but he just still didn't have the 7 years, even counting his 4 years as a Marine, he only had 4 years.
Well, then I think the consensus is, Clara, you will contact each one of
I
them
will.
and find out their preference for the
Yes,
interview.
ma'am. And what we'll do is start them at a certain time, and like you said, different days. And we can have a wide window there, just in case one goes 45 minutes or something like that, and, you know, be for that day or whatever.
Okay,
But I'll get with everybody and let you know what they say, what days are good for them.
and hopefully they'll all be still interested.
Yes.
All right, any more discussion? Workshop is now, pardon me? I'm sorry. Workshop is now ending at 2:22.